That's right, we are turbocharging this 3.8 liter Camaro. So I actually bought the eBay turbo kit months and months ago, way before I even started tracking this car, because I knew I wanted to do it eventually. I actually bought it before the last price hike on it, so that's good. So what we are going to do is figure out how to install a cheap little eBay turbo onto this car. Now, I don't know much. I'm learning as I go. I don't even expect this to last that long. Just want to see, can I do it? Can I get it somewhat safe and reliable? And then from there, we can go about upgrading to actually good parts. But let's start this process. I want to see what it looks like on the engine. And to do that, I need to take off the old exhaust. So I'm going to jack it up and take the existing exhaust off of it. So underneath the car here, we have the pipe that I cut, put this muffler on and whatnot. So the back clamp was what I welded. I did not weld the front clamp, so this is still removable. So we're going to take 15 millimeters, undo this clamp, and that will just take off the back half of the exhaust. And for now, we can just worry about the front half. So let's pop that off. So we got the rear removed, working on the front. Already got the driver's side, now the passenger. And my tip for loosening these, besides spraying them with some sort of penetrating fluid, put your impact on a low speed, and the first round is basically just to shock it. You just want to shock it and then turn up the speed, and now it should come off. There we go, it's starting to fall. Alright, so now I just need to get that other bolt and we'll be good. Now for removing the exhaust manifolds. Now I had these off and I put them back on, so I have hope that they aren't just going to break the bolts on me, but I did spray it down with PB Blaster a few minutes ago, and let's try to get it off. This was a lot easier to do on an engine stand, so I don't even know. This is going to be tight, so let's fight for this. These are 13 millimeters. Lots of just little ratchet turns. Had to go underneath the car to get the very back exhaust manifold bolt, but we got the heat shield off. Working on the last bolt right now, and then this manifold will pop out and we can disconnect that O2 sensor. Manifolds are out. Passenger side came out pretty smooth, not too much in the way. Driver side, however, a little more difficult. Had to pull out the dipstick tube. Of course, all the plug wires came out both sides, and then I pulled the EGR tube as well. I'm going to be deleting EGR, and it kind of needed to come out for the exhaust since it plugs into the exhaust. So yeah, there it is. Now we have the fun. We can start looking at our turbo kit, see what we got, mocking it up. So taking a look at the turbo kit here, we have our turbo manifolds, we have the collector pipe, some exhaust gaskets, V-band clamp, and then bolts. I'm assuming these bolts are for the manifolds as well as the collector, like everything, but I don't know. These may not even be usable, who knows. So let's unpackage these and start putting them in. A closer look. So this would be the passenger side, I believe. It has the O2 bung in an absolute terrible spot, so we'll have to be moving that and plug this. But yeah, so taking a look at the welds, for those that are curious, I've heard that these crack quite a bit, so because of that, I don't really plan on wrapping these with the header wrap. If they're just going to crack, you're going to have to take that off anyways. So same thing with this one. I think this is the one that cracks mostly, the driver's side. And I believe this is stainless steel. If it's not stainless steel, it's something, it's decent quality metal. Let's fit this in there. Great. So they go in there pretty easy. They seem to fit pretty decent. Hopefully I'm not jinxing myself right now. Hitting this power steering reservoir, so this reservoir needs to move. Now people said that you have to move that anyways, so we'll just lift this up. And this needs to go a little to the left, so I'll make some room to put it right about there. Working on bolting everything up, and there is a bracket right here that interferes with the V-band. You're not able to fit the V-band clamp in here because of this bracket, so you have to remove this bracket. This is where the engine block ground is, so it bolts just to this bracket, and that's the ground attached to the block or the cylinder head, whichever one it is. So you just got to remove this. It's a tight area, so it's a 13mm though, just like a lot of these bolts. And with that bracket out of the way, everything is in. Now I'm just using two exhaust manifold bolts from that came off of the car. The kit does not come with exhaust manifold bolts, which is fine. We'll probably have to buy like header bolts anyways. But as you see, it actually fits pretty decent. Now the struggle would be getting this to clamp in, which I got it started. Getting the other one, I might need a longer bolt to help pull it in. But for mock-up purposes, pretty good. Like I said, we moved the power steering reservoir just up and out of the way to give it some room right here, which we're gonna have to do anyways. Probably gonna relocate this to like over here. And then the dryer right here for the AC, I just picked up, moved out. We're gonna be deleting the AC system, and I've already gone and I paid a shop to just recover the refrigerant because the AC actually worked in this car, surprisingly. But so there's no more Freon in here, so I'm free to start removing these, but for now I'm just hanging it up out of the way. Now I think I can kind of manipulate this up and over like that, and we should be able to slap the turbo on right now, so let's go ahead and do that. Well, the turbo is not going to fit with this connected. It interferes way too much. And if you want to keep AC, of course, you can make custom lines, mount this maybe over here, relocate the battery to the back. Doable. I'm not going to do it personally. Okay, so I should be able to just kind of swing that out of the way like that. Well, of course, you got to remove the AC dryer bracket. That was held on by a T30 down there, kind of directly behind or in front of this AC line, so that was a little challenging, but we got it out. Alrighty, let's take a look. So as I said, the driver's side manifold fits pretty good. Both manifolds actually fit very decent. I'm surprised. We got the turbo in there. I just threw the dryer down there like that. Everything fitting pretty good. Now of course we're gonna have to clock this turbo, which is no big deal. And because we're gonna have to clock the turbo, that's why you can't run that, because there's no room for that. Plus there's a lot of heat over there. You won't really want your AC lines right on that. I'm literally touching right now. I'm thinking that this piece right here in the middle probably needs to go. Well, actually, take that back. The whole thing is going. This whole setup is going because it's gonna go from the output of the cold side of the turbo, intercooler, into that. So yeah, this whole thing's gonna go, and there's gonna be plenty of room for the exhaust downpipe right there. Awesome. So that's what it looks like. The Camaro has a turbo on it, and in theory, you know, it should be able to start right now, but we're not gonna do that. Plus, we need to run some oil lines, so that's probably gonna be next. Running some oil lines, and we'll have to figure out how to do that and best way to do that. So in the turbo kit, we also have a wastegate, and I think that's it. I didn't get the complete, I just basically got the hot side. So we'll have to piece together the cold side. Now I plan on doing this in stages. For one, I'm learning, so trying to learn as I go and trying not to get myself in too deep. So I'm thinking the stages are gonna be basically just slap it together, get it running, get all the parts from this kit, and then piece together a cold side, and it should run We won't be able to get in boost yet, but it should at least run. And then from there, you know, we're gonna have to do some fielding upgrades, do some tuning, and at that point hopefully it's good. But I do think I'm gonna do the piece together the cold side and everything else I can do, and then tackle the welding like the exhaust. So now the obvious here is, since I'm doing this, I'm not gonna be able to track this car, at least not for a long time, not until I get this dialed in, because it's just not gonna work on the track. This was a budget track car. I got my seat time. I got enough seat time that I promoted out of the beginner class, and now I'm approved to drive on my own, and that was my goal. So now that I've hit that goal, we're gonna take a break from some track days and instead focus on this turbo project and learn how to do it and whatnot. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.